Welcome to Forged in the Fires podcast with Fireman Rob. Being a fireman, father, veteran, husband, world record holder, and Ironman, he brings stories of experience to impact your life while challenging you to live it. What do you want from your life? Why do you want it? Are you willing to go through the challenges to get there? If you have the courage to take that first step, let this podcast be the catalyst to start your fire, while you bring the resilience to make it continue to burn. Our lives are made up of moments called right nows. So let's get started. Forged in the Fires podcast with your host, Fireman Rob, begins now.
All right, welcome back to Forged in the Fires podcast. I'm your host, Rob Verhelst, otherwise known as Fireman Rob. I've got a great guest today that goes across so many different lines, and I love it. And Barry Siff. Barry, it is so great to have you on the program today.
Thanks, Rob. Good to be here for sure.
Definitely. You have a vast history. And I love going back in time and kind of finding out how people got into what they're going into. And looking back at your endurance life, you had your first marathon in 1981.
Yep.
What was that one?
The Detroit Free Press International Marathon. It was an incredible race. You know, you started in Canada, Windsor, Canada, and went through a tunnel. You ran 5 miles over in Canada, went through a tunnel, and then entered the U.S. and ran the rest of it in Detroit. It was really cool.
and that kind of spurred on your love of endurance.
Oh, man.
And how did you jump into triathlons after that?
Yeah, so I was a tennis player before that, then became a marathoner. Did a bunch of marathons between 81 and 86, like a lot. And then I ended up going to Omaha, Nebraska, the home of triathlon.
You wouldn't think that.
You would not think that. But back in the 80s, there was an incredibly strong triathlon community. So I jumped into that community and started swimming a little bit. I got so excited that in 1986, actually went to Kona to watch two of my fellow triathletes compete in Kona. And I got hooked, and then I was able to race there in 88. And I stayed with endurance sports, well, right up till now that I'm still doing it.
It's amazing. And throughout your career, now this may be old information, but over 60 marathons and 10 Ironmans. Is that correct?
It's old information. I think it's more like maybe 75 marathons and a lot of ultra marathons. I've done 100 miles in Leadville and a lot of multi-day expedition races and 12 Ironmans. So soon to be 13, hopefully, as long as we can get Arizona done this year.
There you go. Now, what brings you back? What is it about that endurance sports that brings you there?
I was talking with someone about that yesterday because a good friend of mine in Boulder, was getting into this Everesting deal that everybody's really, really big into that. And I think us triathletes, the easy answer is we look for challenges. But I think we also look for accomplishments.
Right.
And I think that's two different things. And a lot of us need that sense of getting things done, that sense of accomplishment, and that recognition. I think we've got big egos. We like to, we think we're super healthy. We look good. We feel good. Everybody always says, I can't believe how old you are. You look whatever, not your age. And that feeds our ego a little bit, but I think we also like accomplishments. So we put things out there to go after that are tough, and tougher the better.
Yeah, I love it. And one of the things in the USA, I think this is it. Yeah, USAT, where you said the next step, the next challenge. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my next challenge was, taking on this sport of handball. I was president of USA Triathlon for 5-6 years and very active at USA Triathlon, but I needed another challenge. I've got a lot of years left and a lot of enthusiasm, get things done professionally, and there's this incredible sport that just isn't played much here in the States. It's in the Olympics, and we're going to be in the Olympics in LA in 2028, guaranteed slots. So I thought it'd be pretty cool to try to basically build a sport here, and learn a whole new community. It's been really interesting.
I love it because that really lends itself to what you've done throughout your life. You know, you go from the food industry of being a senior VP to then creating like this whole endurance sports business that you ran for a long time, right?
Right. We, when my business career ended very abruptly in January of 1998, I had an opportunity just to reassess what I wanted to do in life. I think it really resonates today to what a lot of people, literally millions of people, are going through today in light of the COVID situation, and reassessing, what can we do with our life? What are we going to do now that our jobs are lost? Or what are we going to do now that our business is out of business, our small little bookstore, our small little restaurant? And I had that opportunity. And after assessing it for 3 months, I set forth with getting into endurance sports, both from a professional standpoint, racing. I raced all over the world with expedition races, but also putting a small business together of putting on events. And we started off by putting on adventure races, 24-hour races, and some camps that morphed into winter triathlons, which were really cool up in Colorado. In fact, we did a winter adventure race, 24-hour adventure race, and actually it was 2 days of 8 to 12 hours each day up in the mountains of Colorado. It was like literally minus 24 degrees at the start on Sunday morning. And that's what we did. And that morphed into 5430 Sports, which was a hugely successful event business in Boulder. And so then I got into the governance world.
I love it. And all right, now going back into these endurance events that you've done, like the expedition events.
Yeah.
You got to tell me, I mean, because those sound crazy. What is one of the crazier stories that you have from one of those expedition events?
I've got so many of them.
I can only imagine.
So many. In fact, Liz, my partner for every single race, and I toured the country every couple summers for REI, which was one of our sponsors, just doing talks and showing back then slides and stories. But probably the two stories that always come out were an early race that we did in Brazil. And, you navigated by map and compass, and you were covering hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. It was multi-day, 5 to 10 days, most of these races, day and night, no sleep. I mean, you only slept when you had to. And 3 of the teams, we were with 2 other teams totally lost in the jungle. I mean, lost. And the other 2 teams didn't speak English. And we traveled together trying to find our way out of this jungle. It was bizarre because, once you're lost, there's you have no GPS. You just have map and compass. And, one of the teams, one of the females on the team literally caught a duck, and she carried the duck with her for hours and maybe an entire day, because if we ran out of food, she was going to eat that duck. And I mean, it was that, you're in those situations where you don't know if you're going to get out alive. And we got out. And we got out just into some clearing. We had no idea where we were, but we were all obviously going to drop out of the race. And we found a pizza place, and we went in the pizza place, and, one of the teams used their radio and said they're dropping out. And we just started walking along the road. And once we knew where we were, you're no longer lost. And the helicopter comes down, because all this was for TV. And we find out we're in 10th place. I mean, we're literally still in the running. So all of a sudden we're running to this other place, and we're back in the race. So that was kind of wild. And the other one was in Tibet. We were in one night, we were mountain biking in the snow in the evening. And the next morning, we were whitewater swimming in 90-degree weather. We had dropped, I forget how many thousands of feet on a mountain bike ride in the middle of the night. So you go from snow to extreme heat. So, it was amazing. Those were amazing days. Mark Burnett, that's where he made his name for himself from The Apprentice and Survivor. He started with Eco Challenge, and Yeah, we were there during his Eco Challenge days, and then when he got successful with Survivor, he gave up on Eco Challenge, which was unfortunate. But yeah, it was a cool life.
I was going to say that Eco Challenge always looked interesting to me. I've watched a few of the reruns, I guess you could call them, of the Eco Challenge, and it's just an amazing amalgamation of all these things that people can do to be able to find the finish.
Yeah, it was the basic definition was any means of going forward without a motor. So we were on horseback riding, inline skating, obviously lots of kayaking, lots of whitewater rafting, whitewater canoeing, tons of mountain biking. One leg might be 75 miles of mountain biking, and one trek, what we call the trek, or a hike or a run, could easily be 30, 40 miles.
Wow.
And you're navigating the whole way. So yeah, it was pretty unique, pretty dangerous, obviously, and lots of injuries. Only one fatality. And yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's amazing. And then you transitioned from that. And like you said, you kind of got into more of an administrative, governing body, and you were the volunteer president of USA Triathlon for a few years. And what was it like to be at the top and kind of seeing how triathlon changed during that time and how you wanted to change it?
Yeah, it was really, and still remains. I'm still on the board of directors as what's called the ex officio because I'm the past president, but it's been fascinating. It's such an honor and privilege to be in a position to have an impact, to have some say at the highest level in the sport that you absolutely, love, that you're passionate about. And I've been able to do that both at the U.S. level, the national level, and I'm also on the ITU, the International Federation Executive Board. So I continue to have an impact on the sport worldwide. And, we're the ones that make the decisions on, when races happen, where races happen. Even right now, during the COVID situation, when are we going to start awarding Olympic points again, for example, to the elite athletes and things like that. So it's just, it's the highest honor I could possibly have. I love giving back. I think that's what we're seeing a lot during this pandemic period, where people are realizing how awesome it is to give back to people and to do things for others. And I'm fortunately in a position to be able to do that, both in triathlon, and now I consider the same thing in handball. Even though it's a job as CEO, I consider it a privilege to be able to step in with my background and with my leadership skills and hopefully bring a sport that's been relatively stable / stagnant for a lot of years, and hopefully help it grow here in the States.
Definitely. And that's a perfect transition into, you just switched over to that handball. And kind of an interesting fact is I actually looked into the team handball probably about 8 years ago to go down to Alabama and try out. I never got down there.
Yeah, at Auburn.
Never got down there.
There was a residency program. Yeah, it's too bad you didn't. I mean, there was a full-fledged residency program there where a lot of people went. They lived there. They got degrees. We have a couple athletes on our national team who actually got PhDs while playing handball down there. And that center got closed about 2 years ago. Maybe a year before I came on board. So right now we don't really have a central training spot, but the one thing we do have is the 2028 Olympics. And so in 8 years, we know we're going to field an Olympic women's team and an Olympic men's team. So, people, I mean, we're going to be having tryouts. We've got great players now, but we need to bring on new people who have, just great what I call talent transfer skills. And in the sport of triathlon, as you may know, we got the Gwen Jorgensens and Katie Zafarises who were amazing runners and swimmers and had never been on a bike in their life. And we have turned them into world champions. And Gwen, of course, a gold medalist. I think we can do the same in the handball world in terms of taking these amazing athletes. I was on the phone with one last week who is at the Ohio State University. He's a student there. Just started playing handball last September. and he's already on his way over to Europe soon for a contract, and he's going to be playing handball professionally over there while we help develop him into a Team USA player.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, 6'5", 230. 6'5", 230 and fast. Yeah.
That's a nice little combination there for a handball player.
You bet. It really is. They're incredibly athletic.
Well, and it's interesting when you look at the USA Handball, and I kind of went back in the archives to find out more, and for people to understand the challenge that you did take on. You look at team handball for the USA, it's probably one of the weaker sports that we have for the Olympics program right now.
Yep.
We haven't actually qualified for an Olympics since 1988, the Seoul Olympics. We had the automatic bid in 96, but you have an uphill battle, but you have the passion to be able to make it happen.
I do have the passion. I think our women qualified in 92 in the Olympics, but yeah, it's been a while, and we haven't qualified for the World Championship. So we have an uphill battle, but I think the reason has been the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee has historically supported those sports that did have medal opportunities. It was kind of a chicken and the egg. And those sports where we didn't have medal opportunities didn't get a lot of support. So before I took this position, years before I took this position, literally in 2016, when I was in Rio, I talked to the Olympic Committee and told them that, at some point I want to go into handball, but we're going to need your support. And so in April of 2019, when I did become CEO of USA Team Handball, for the first time in a long, long time, we had strong support from the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee and really strong support from the International Handball Federation. Because to be a worldwide sport, let's face it, you have to have the United States as a player, as a key player. And so the International is very interested in helping us in any way possible, and they've been phenomenally supportive. So I walked into a good situation. We laid the groundwork for that, and I think we're making some good progress.
So when you look at, I think a lot of people are always interested in finding out more about Olympic athletes and really what it takes. But at the same time, I don't think they understand all the little things that these Olympic athletes have to do, because a lot of them have to still have jobs. A lot of them, it's not like other countries where they're either paid to be on the Olympic team or they're part of, a certain group. But a lot of our Olympic athletes, I'm guessing, especially the team handball, they have to have other jobs. How tough is it on these individuals to keep that peak performance?
Oh, that's brutally tough. I mean, and it's true even for the triathletes, at the top level, when you get to, again, Gwen or Katie, they're doing it full time. But a lot of these top athletes do have to have part-time jobs. And the Olympians, it's just incredible. The lesser known sports, your luge and your bobsled and your table tennis and your badminton, which are all absolutely high level, Olympic sports. These people are having to have part-time jobs because the national governing bodies, which is USA Team Handball, USA Cycling, USA Triathlon, don't necessarily have the money to support these athletes. And there is no government funding. In other countries, almost every other country, the Olympic programs are funded by the government. Here in the United States, our government doesn't do any funding of our Olympic programs. And so it's all, private donations. It's also, obviously, the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee gets NBC money and IOC money, International Olympic Committee money. But it's tough, and they have to divvy it up a lot of different ways. So, yeah, it's a challenge, and it's really tough to be an Olympic athlete. I mean, what's really nice is some of these companies and I don't know, I'm sure I'm going to mess up, a Visa, I think Home Depot in the past and others have provided opportunities for Olympians to get into training programs. I know that one of our absolute top Olympians, post-Olympics, post-Rio, Greg Billington, he raced in Rio for USA Triathlon, then went into a management training program at, I hope I'm correct that it's Visa, but he's doing phenomenally well. And it's wonderful when companies can partner like that, maybe not necessarily give the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars of sponsorship, but at least give these people opportunities to get a little bit of income while they're training their butts off to be the best in the world.
Right. And they're representing the United States on a bigger scale. And it's interesting to me that mindset that, when I was in the military, it's, service before self. And it almost seems like that same kind of mindset for these Olympic athletes.
Oh, it is. It's a dream, and they're going to do everything possible within their power to do it. When we talk about money a little bit, Charlie White is an athlete, a lead athlete on our USA beach handball team. And last week he was on this new show on Fox, that Ultimate Tag.
Okay.
It was a show on Fox, which is a variation on pretty much American Gladiators meets Ninja Warriors. And it was a tag competition, and Charlie won it. And this was on Fox on television, and he got $10,000 for winning. And, $10,000 to these Olympic hopefuls and elite athletes is a ton of money. And right. I hate to say that, because when you look at business people and you look at successful, executives and all this, $10,000 is like, let's go away for a weekend. Right. And to our athletes, that's a ton of money. So yeah, they're scraping by to represent Team USA, and that's the dream. It's to have USA on the front of their jersey. And I'm proud to be in a position to help people do that.
Now, Barry, where can people go, listening to this podcast? And I know there's a lot of people that are proud to, be in the USA and want to support Team USA.
Yes.
Where can they go to donate, in essence, to help these athletes?
Well, I'll tell you what, we could really use that, especially, you can go to teamusa.org, but obviously, selfishly, I would promote USA Team Handball.org, because Definitely. Our athletes have never really had the support. When our athletes travel internationally, they literally put up GoFundMe pages. They have bike sales. They have car wash. They have to raise their own money to travel. That's what it's been like for the last 2 decades. When they travel to a competition, hopefully this year we're going to travel to Mexico City, hopefully to qualify for the World Championships. And these athletes are going to have to pay most of their way. And so wow. any funding, any donations would be greatly appreciated. There's a donate button on usateamhandball.org. But it's hard right now, obviously, during the pandemic, to ask for money beyond helping others who are really in need of help during COVID. So we've been really reluctant. We haven't done any fundraising. We've been very, quiet on that front. But I thank you for opening that door.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think as we come together, and I've worked in the fire service for 20 years, and it's really coming together as a whole. And I think you look at the Olympics being postponed and all these things that have come up, and I love watching the Olympics. I've always wanted to be on an Olympic team, but being 6 foot and 215, I couldn't play basketball. I'm not fast as a swimmer.
Right. Well, some of these other sports, and that's what the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic committees did last year and the year before. They had a Who Wants to Be Olympian competition, and you'd be surprised if you have this. You got to have athleticism, you got to have strength, power, speed, and commitment, passion. Most of your top athletes, almost all of them, have these common threads of grit, tenacity, commitment, all out. That when they wake up in the morning, that's what they're thinking about. What am I going to do today to be better? What can I do today to be better? And it's just great being around these people. And even now, listening and watching what they're doing to stay in shape, to be ready for when the doors open. And especially for the ones who are looking toward the Olympics. Unfortunately, we are not going to qualify for Tokyo in handball. But, of course, we will have triathletes. In fact, we have the strongest women's team in the world. And our men are up and coming really strong. So we're excited and we're keeping track of what they're doing to stay in shape and giving them every possible opportunity to do what they can do right now to be the best they can be.
That's amazing. And it takes the support, and it takes a community to be able to get Olympic athletes to that start line, but also to get them on the podium. And I think that's a huge part of all these things.
You bet. And it's just great being around the young people who are so committed and so passionate, and seeing it and feeling it. And it fuels my fire as not only a leader, but also as an athlete, because I still like getting out there and hopefully do another Ironman this year.
I love it. Well, Barry, it has been a pleasure having you on. Now I've got to ask you those questions. I told you I wouldn't have told you, but you've already listened to it, so you may have good answers here. I love it.
I don't know about that.
All right,
before you do, I want to thank you. Yeah. I want to thank you because I don't know when this show's going to run, but we are taping on Memorial Day, and I want to thank you for your service in so many ways to our country and to the people in New York, et cetera. So thank you, Rob. You're really a great person, and have all the integrity and values that I try to instill in others and instill in myself. So thank you for all you do. I
greatly appreciate that, Barry. That means a lot from you. All the things that you've done, I appreciate that.
You bet. All right, fire away.
Are you ready? All right, here we go. What is one thing you haven't done but is outside of your comfort zone?
Bad water 135.
Oh, you did that? I didn't even know you did that.
I didn't. I thought you said that I didn't do.
No, you haven't done it. Yeah.
I haven't done it.
You haven't done. Yeah.
I have not done it yet, but it's still on my radar screen.
Oh, that is an amazing race. I've looked at that one too, but
you bet.
Yeah, I might sweat too much.
Well, I'm sitting here in Phoenix where it's going to be 110, 111 this week, so I'm in a good area to train.
Exactly. Well, you put it out there to the world. Now you got to do it.
I understand.
All right. What is one of your favorite quotes and why?
Pursue your passion and enjoy life. I came up with that when I wrote my first book in like 2001 or something. We wrote the first adventure racing guide, and we used to go do book tours and sign it. And I didn't know what to sign other than pursue your passion and enjoy life. I mean, that's what I was doing, and thought it was pretty good advice.
I love that advice. That should be on the back of the USA Team Handball shirts.
That's a good. I love that. I love it.
I want the first one though. All right, last question here. If you could pick to have coffee with three people, they can be living or deceased, at a coffee house, at a firehouse table. So in other words, you can ask them anything. Who would it be and why?
Oh man, I did not hear this question. Oh my God. And I wish I could get my wife over here, because I said this the other day who I would speak with. Barack Obama would definitely.
That's a good one.
Definitely be one. I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling with the others. I don't know. I don't have a lot of. I never believed in heroes. I never.
Yeah.
Thought about that. So, oh my gosh, I wish I had prepared or asked my wife what the others were. But I honestly, I'm drawing a blank. I really am. I apologize.
Hey, no, that's okay. If we could figure out who the godfather of handball is.
Yeah, I think. Well, in the United States, it was Peter Buning, and
Peter Buning.
So I know that, and I've had the opportunity to meet with a lot of pretty influential people, whether it's Thomas Bach, the head of the IOC, or my mind is always in sports. So. Yep. I don't know. There's a lot of great people out there. I watched the Lance Armstrong documentary. Speaking of non-great people, I'm not a big fan of Lance, but I watched the documentary yesterday or this morning while I was on my bike, and I did have several opportunities to spend time with him. It's just interesting meeting different people with different values. You learn from them. You take the best of people and you try to incorporate in your life. And I'm not saying I'd like to have dinner with Lance, though I have had though I did have dinner with Lance before a fundraiser we did for Livestrong. So
and it's interesting, like I think you said it perfectly, is like you have to take things from other people's lives that you can put into yours to make it better, And also
Exactly.
understand there's bad things that other people have that maybe you don't want to have.
Yeah, exactly. And like you've done so many great things. I mean, it inspired so many people. And I think that's what we got to do. We just got to look how we can inspire and make people feel better. Look for ways, and my management style is rather than trying to catch people making mistakes and trying to correct them, I like, try to catch people doing things right and make note of it. And, every run that I do, every single run, every single day, most every day, I try to make someone smile or several people smile on my run, whether I tell them their dog is awesome or they're running well or good on you, for being out there. Because so many people right now during this situation, they're new to athletics, they're new to fitness, right. But I see them being out there. So it's pretty exciting.
That is, it's a unique thing. I think endurance sports may come back stronger than they were before.
Oh, I think so. I really do think so. The number of people we see every day, we live in a really active area in Tempe, and just seeing people who clearly are out there for the first time, either walking or trying to jog or trying to run or trying to paddle their paddle boards or kayaks or getting on a mountain bike or a skateboard and doing it with families, seeing a lot of kids out there with their parents just getting out on their striders, their little bikes. Or
yep.
I think we're going to come out of this with a lot more people being active and hopefully healthy.
I love it. All right. This last part is the rapid round questions. I'm going to give you two things. All you got to tell me is which one you'd pick. All right, here we go.
On.
Paper or plastic?
Paper.
Soup or salad?
Salad.
McDonald's or Taco Bell?
I'm vegan. I don't know. I guess I think I can have. I think I can have something at Taco Bell. Yeah, neither for sure. I don't frequent those.
I can imagine. It's always a funny thing when I talk to triathletes. So like,
yeah,
no.
exactly.
Camping or hotel?
Hotel.
Fly or drive?
Fly.
Sleep in late or wake up early?
I'm up every day at 4:30.
Oh man.
4:30 a.m.
Oh, run or walk?
Day. Run.
Of course.
Of course.
Partly sunny or partly cloudy?
Always sunny.
Fire or water?
Water.
Use a porta potty or continue or run to the next physical bathroom?
Oh my God, porta potty. No problem.
I love it. Coke or Pepsi?
Neither.
Not a
chance. Kombucha. Homemade kombucha.
Go big or go home?
Go big.
I love it. Hey,
and go bigger.
And go bigger. I love it. Well, Barry, it has been an honor to have you on today, and thank you so much for joining us, and also for taking the reins of Team Handball. I think it's going to be a great thing for the U.S.
Thank you so much. Thanks again for all you do, and I appreciate being a guest on your show. Thank you.
It's been fantastic. Where again can people go to donate to USA Team Handball? USATeamhandball.org.
Thank you.
Perfect. Everybody go there because we need to have a sport like this. We have a lot of athletes in this United States, and we can dominate. So thanks again, Barry, and thanks for everybody listening. We'll talk to you next time. Bye. And we can dominate. So thanks again, Barry, and thanks for everybody listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening and supporting the Forged in the Fires podcast with Fireman Rob. Remember, don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast, and please share this episode with a friend or family. To find out more about Fireman Rob or reach out about a question, go to www.firemanrob.com. Until next time, live your life forged in the fires.